I do quickly want to talk about the whole Cassie and P. Diddy thing because the lawsuit came out on Thursday right after we recorded, and so we haven't talked about it, and it's been 2 weeks, and the news cycle is so quick that it's pretty much being pushed under the rug, even though I heard that there has been another lawsuit against P.
There's
Diddy.
3 other women coming out.
So Cassie, who was signed under Diddy when she was 19 years old and became his girlfriend for a good 10 years, came out 2 weeks ago saying that he did all sorts of things to her, including rape, sexual assault, drugging her, sex trafficking, literally every bad thing that you can think of, he did. And I've always heard bad things about Diddy, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, how do you, it's hard not to hear bad things when everyone around you has died and you're the only person who's still standing.
Yeah.
And a billionaire at that on top of it.
And a billionaire at that, which is really scary because it makes me think I never really want to be around someone that's that powerful, because as the legend Kanye West said, no one man should have all that power. And that is a fact, because there's something about human beings that when they touch a certain amount of power, they get corrupted. You see it in politics all the times. Obviously, in the industry, this happens all the time. And they settled within less than 24 hours. And I know his lawyer is probably thinking, oh, this does not mean that he admits guilt, but it really does show that
there's also
did at least some of those things.
There's also a video circulating on the internet of Cassie hiding under a blanket while he's recording her, and he's not being very nice to her. And he's saying some really weird shit, and it's just
I find P. Diddy very disgusting, and he's the epitome of someone that got into the Illuminati and is very demonic. And it's kind of sick to think that you have kids and daughters, and even the mother of some of his children, Kim Porter, she passed away of pneumonia, and even people are talking about how potentially maybe he had something to do with it, because it reminds me of House of Cards, or even Scandal, if you watch any of those shows. When you have a lot of power and someone's trying to say anything against you, you can literally make that person disappear. You have so many resources at your fingertips that you can make things seem what they aren't. And it is very scary. And I'm sure, people have been talking shit about Cassie being like, wow, she just wanted a paycheck. At the end of the day, what else, if you're not, because this was a civil lawsuit, so he was never going to go to jail. What else can you get from a billionaire when they took your sanity, when they took so much from you? All you really can get, because they're never going to admit to guilt.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like when Big Pharma always gets sued. They never admit to guilt, ever.
Look at the Oxycontin epidemic that happened. Big Pharma, all they did was start cutting checks, but they never actually admitted that they were the one.
They always make
responsible for the addiction crisis that we're all facing now.
Yeah, they always make sure to not admit to guilt so that they continue with their fuck shit. And even if P. Diddy was the type of person that's like, oh, I'll step down kind of thing. You always see that in politics. I'm going to step down, whatever. Because at the end of the day, this was also her boss too. So she sued not only Christian, what's his name? Sean Diddy Combs, but she sued Bad Boy. She sued every entity he had because he was her boss. She came out with Me and You a million years ago. She signed to a 10-album deal, and I'm pretty sure she only came out with one album. Yeah. He did not help her career, but he funded everything for her, which is very scary when a man or someone controls you financially and every other way, because it's hard for you to leave because they're gonna threaten you. There was stories about how she was seeing Kid Cudi and he threatened to.
He was jealous of Kid Cudi because he thought that they were seeing each other.
Right, so he threatened to,
and he blew up his car.
And then he actually blew up his car.
And Kid Cudi like signed off on these comments that were
he agreed.
He agreed with the comments that were in Cassie's lawsuit because he said, yeah, he did blow up my fucking car.
He did.
So,
and there's a lot of people around him that, you know, either don't speak because they have skeletons in their closet, they've done something like that, or they don't want to lose the connection with him because obviously he's very powerful. People have been looking at Carisha from the City Girls, Young Miami. People have been looking at a lot of people being like, so what are you going to say? No one has actually said, oh, I don't think he didn't do that. They either talk shit about Cassie or they feel bad for Cassie because this has been going on for more than a decade, and I'm sure people knew. And there are clips of even, you know, Usher. He took Usher under his wing. He was hanging out with Justin Bieber when he was really young. There's just a lot of people that I'm sure are very like tainted because of people of power. Look at the whole Harvey Weinstein, Jeff Epstein situation. Like, so many people around you help you. Bill Cosby, R. Kelly. Like, there's always gonna be people of power. This is another reason why I hate. I'm not even close to being around someone of power, but one of my favorite celebrities is Rihanna, and I remember she was dating a billionaire Saudi Arabian prince, and I kind of didn't like that because I'm like, this guy has so much power. I feel like she's more safe in North America with an African American man. So I like her being with ASAP because to me, she has more control.
I'm not really a big ASAP.
Then I mean, he's colorist and he's talked shit about, you know, dark skinned black girls and shit like that. But I would rather her be with a black guy from North America than be with a friggin' billionaire Saudi Arabian prince, because I know P. Diddy is just like the tip of the iceberg. There's shit going on in Congo. There's shit going on in Nigeria. There's shit going on in Saudi Arabia. Like, there's so many billionaires, millionaires doing raunchy, demonic shit with kids, women, boys, the churches.
Yeah, well, honestly, like, and with the Cassie thing, like, that's one of the biggest thing. I am such a strong advocate for, like, women having their own, like, way to fund themselves. Like, you need independence, because when you rely on someone, like, in every way, financially, emotionally, all that stuff, like, you can be manipulated so easily, and someone can take advantage and control you. Like, it's so easy for someone to just dangle basic necessities in front of you and be like, well, I'm going to take this away. And then it's like, you feel stuck, you know? And it's like, if you had your own, then you would be able to, like, do your own stuff and step away when you need to and create those boundaries, you know? Like, it's so important for people to have to be independent and like be able to be self-sufficient. There's nothing more important, and I say women more because, like, it's more often than not that it's women that are, like, the ones that are putting aside their careers and stuff to take care of the family and stuff like that. So I always say, like, I'm a strong advocate for women going back to work, making their own money, even if you don't make as much. You need your own money. Like, you need your own bank account. You need to be able that if something happens, you're not stuck, you know? Like, you should always have, like, most people have a really good support system around them, but, like, you need to make sure that you're telling people what's going on. Document everything, because you never know. That's
the problem. That's one thing that he had against him, was he was documenting. He was recording a lot of these sexual acts.
Yeah.
And 50 Cent is one of the only people that is talking mad shit about P. Diddy and saying how
50 Cent. He doesn't
because he has ownership of his own things, so he doesn't depend on other people, which is nice because then he has the freedom to say whatever he wants. And he said how back in the day he received video of Cassie doing sexual things and he confronted P. Diddy about it. He's saying, like, isn't this your girl? And he's just like, yeah, like, so it's just very sketchy. He's a very sketchy person, and I believe everything that she said that he did, and I'm happy that hopefully this gives her a bit of peace. Obviously, she's still going to be traumatized, and thankfully she's she's married with someone else and has her own kids, thank God, and she was able to get out of that situation, because it is a hard situation to get out of. Imagine someone that's consistently threatening you, beating your, like, putting you down spiritually, mentally, everything, you know? Like, her confidence was probably put down for so long. Apparently she even had proof of MRI scans of her memory, having issues due to all the drugs and the beatings. Like, it was very like a savage situation.
So sad.
It is sad. And I feel like as a woman, we just see it in a different point of view, because one, women are usually smaller, but then on top of that, just the power of P. Diddy. It's just so sad that you could just throw money at anything and then it just
goes away.
It goes away. So I'm happy that she finally stood up for herself, literally, like, right at the deadline. I think the deadline, like, was a week before she filed the lawsuit. So I hope that P. Diddy gets everything he deserves. And I don't know how he sleeps at night. And even though he's a billionaire in this world, when he passes away, he will get what's coming for him.